They don't know your story.
You don't know my story.
You don't know
The
my
things.
You don't.
Good evening, Jex family, here in the UK and all around the world. Welcome to Michelle Hemmings' Organ Donation Life Stories. How you all doing? I'm feeling well blessed today, and I hope you're feeling blessed today as well. Now, before I bring on my next guest, this time 2 years ago, I was part of the British Transplant Games. As you can see, I've got my T-shirt on, and I was involved in the 1.8-mile walk, and I raised over £950 for doing that walk. My friend that I'm going to bring on now, she was involved in the British Transplant Games, but I'm going to wait until she comes on and she can tell you more about this. So my special guest that I have this week, her name is Katai, and I'd like to welcome Katai to my show. Welcome, Katai.
Thank you, Michelle. Hi, everyone. Thank you for
Hey,
inviting me.
it's great to see you. I haven't seen you in face to face, have I? No, we
No,
haven't
I
met, have we?
haven't. Actually, that's a good point.
Oh,
I was just
oh
thinking that just
wow.
now. Yeah,
But we met, well, we got in touch in about, what, 2 years ago now?
I think, yeah, you're right. 2 years ago. I'm
Yeah,
forgetting because of COVID.
okay.
I have to remember, the years, but two
Well, I
years
know.
ago. Yeah.
So hopefully we can meet sometime in the future anyway.
Yeah, that'll be nice, actually. Even if we
Definitely,
have to take our
definitely.
masks with us, but that's fine.
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Would you like to tell the audience, our listeners, your name and where about in the UK you're from?
So my name is Kitai Sitole, and I live and work here in Oxford at the moment.
Okay,
Yeah.
great, thank you. And can you tell us what sort of transplant did you have? Was it a heart, kidney?
So I had a kidney transplant when was it? March 2018.
Okay,
Yeah, a few years ago
okay.
now.
And can you tell us why did you need this transplant?
Well, for me, it's a bit complicated. I had an operation and I had trauma, so this ended up in me having to have dialysis and then a kidney transplant. So
Okay,
yeah, it was just from a blood loss, severe blood loss. So in the end, I
okay,
was told I needed a kidney transplant. Yeah, it's slightly
okay.
different story.
Hmm,
Not so much medical reasons. It's more of something that happened in hospital.
yeah. So we,
Yeah.
we can have a transplant for different range of reasons. Like myself, I had lung fibrosis or interstitial lung disease and mild hypertension as well. So yours is completely different to mine.
Yeah.
I was suffering for about 22 years. How long was you suffering for before you had yours?
Before I had the transplant.
Yeah.
So 2016 is when everything happened. 2018, just under 2 years, maybe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. All right
So
then.
just, yeah.
Okay. Do you want to tell the listeners just a tiny bit about your journey, how it started? I know you told us a bit about it, but is there anything else you want to add to it?
Well, I guess it started when I had this trauma, unfortunately. And before the transplant, I was just going to work, do my normal things, exercise, going to my Zumba, going to the gym. So when the trauma happened, I had to stop everything, because I was told I had to have dialysis, um, because both of my kidneys, both of them were down and damaged due to blood loss.
Mm-hmm.
Obviously, it was very stressful. It was a shock. It was a shock to a lot of people, including the medics. Um, so everything stopped. It was a very stressful time, I have to say, in so many ways. Stressful to myself, to my family, to my friends, even to my work colleagues who tried to support me as much as they could. I guess life was on hold for a while. And then I was told I'd need a kidney transplant. So I did go on the waiting list. Well, I guess it took me a while to go on the waiting list because I was so much in shock. Anyway,
Okay.
eventually I did, and then I got the call on the 1st of March, 2018. And then I had to go into hospital and have the transplant, still not believing I was going to have the kidney transplant, to be honest. Because what you usually hear is you get called in and maybe it's like a false alarm. But that day was not a false alarm for me, it was the actual thing.
Okay.
So yeah, I had the transplant and I had 3 months at home, a bit like what we had to do with COVID, stay at home in isolation. And then slowly, it took me 6 months to get back to work on a part-time basis. And also because I work in the hospital here, but I had to stop all of that, obviously, when the trauma happened and when transplant happened. I was in and out of hospital so many times. But
Okay.
I think I'm grateful because I had a supportive family, friends, work, colleagues, church. So I didn't feel the pressure to return to work so quickly. My manager said, Katai, even if you take a whole year, we understand. So I just took my time to recover, just looked after myself, enjoyed the summer. What I remember that year, it was such a hot summer. So I really enjoyed the summer, made the most of it.
Okay.
And I think after a few months, I started going, I went clubbing with my cousin. I have a cousin who lives in Birmingham and she's a nurse.
Okay.
She's brilliant. She's being a nurse, she's a caring person and she knows I love dancing. So that's part of
Yeah.
my healing, dancing. So she took me out once I got better and my anemia was better. So it's been a really long journey, interesting journey in so many ways.
All
Yeah.
right. So tell me, how do you maintain a healthy lifestyle? I know you love your Zumba, your dancing, anything else?
Um, I've always, in my family, luckily, we've always been healthy, as in we talk to each other about good health. My mum and dad are kind of like, I guess, I mean, my parents grew up in Zimbabwe, so even though I was born in London, so
Okay.
we're used to eating, I don't know, healthy, organic food. So I've kind of like kept that throughout the years. I'm used to eating that way. I do exercise a lot anyway. I'm quite active. I was active before the transplant, so nothing changed. I'm still active even now. I think keeping healthy is not only physically, it's mentally as well. Because when you go through a transplant or trauma, anything, you need that mental health support.
Yes,
So to be
definitely.
honest, I decided to find the hospital gave me some therapy sessions or counseling, but I decided I wanted to speak to somebody not related to the hospital, so I found my own private therapist, and
Okay.
that's helped me a lot. Just once a week, talking to my therapist and working things out because you need to. I think it's important to look after your mental health.
Definitely. Of
Um,
course.
very important. It's not just one part of your health or how you look or doing your hair. Oh, hair is important anyway, or what you eat is also it's also your mental health. Um,
Yes.
I also I decided to find or he found me. It was one of my friends. I think I wrote an article for World Kidney Day, and
Okay.
my friend David now he picked up on that article and he did contact me to say, Katai, I can help you with exercise. I was a bit I was a bit scared because I didn't know who he was, but to be honest, I've been training with David for a few years now, and just to keep up my strength and my muscles going.
Yes.
Been a great help. He's been a really great help, and I was
That's
lucky because he knows a few clients who've gone through transplants or different disabilities. So he's very patient. So I'm grateful for people like him. I'm grateful for my parents. I have a friend who used to work in my local hospital, but she's a private dietitian, but she helped me as well, just to
Okay.
understand what had gone on when I was in hospital in terms of all the medication I had to take and what was going on.
Oh,
For
yeah.
example, with our guts, it's quite important to know and
Yeah,
what foods to eat to avoid. Yeah, so you need a team of people around you to support you.
definitely. Because
Yeah,
we've been through a lot, and our
yeah,
health is really important, and our healthy lifestyle, our dieting. We
hmm,
need different people to help and support and advise us. And it seems like
yeah,
you got somebody there is really good.
yeah. I have a few people. I'm really lucky. I've been so lucky, and even my doctors. Oh, that's very important. Your doctors, surgeons. I
Yes.
think I'm really lucky because I've got a
You
really
need to have
good relationship
one.
with them. I can talk to them like
Yeah.
I'm talking to you, Michelle, honestly.
Yes.
That's important. I can send them an email if something's concerning me or I'm really worried. They do respond. They've always said, "We're here for you." And actually, they mean it. You know,
Yes. Yeah.
you know how it is, Michelle. They get to know you very well. You
Definitely.
know,
As long as you get on with your doctor, your consultant. Like for myself, I'm in a support group, a lung and
yeah,
heart support group. So we can talk amongst ourselves as well. Or,
yeah.
like you said, you can talk to your doctors or your consultant and get advice and anything else you need. Before I go on to
Yeah.
the next question, I got a few messages here. I got a message from Donna. She said, "What an amazing story, Katai."
Oh, hi, Donna. Thank you.
Any other
Yeah.
messages? If you've got any messages out there, please put it in the chat box and we will try and read them as best as we can throughout the program. Okay, there's another message from GX family. Greetings from the GX radio
Hi, everyone.
and greetings and welcome, ladies. Thank you, Donna. Okay, so I know you've been part of the British Transplant Games,
Mhm.
and I think the last one took place in 2019, if I'm right,
That's
because
correct.
Mr. COVID came in play last year. So
Yeah,
we were supposed to
unfortunate.
have it this year. Yeah, we should have had it this year, but it's been
Mm.
postponed to next year. Tell us a bit about when you was involved with the British Transplant Games in 2019.
So I went as a volunteer. I love volunteering. To be quite honest, I'm in love with volunteering. Any
Okay,
volunteering would do for me. So I said to myself, what can I do to get involved? To be honest, Michelle, I didn't know about the transplant games. I don't know who told me. Maybe I went to clinic and somebody mentioned it and I said, what are you talking about? So
okay,
I said,
okay.
I want to get involved. So I decided to volunteer, for a week. Did different things. I can't remember. It's just a range of different jobs. I was at a hotel helping the athletes with the other two volunteers, just
Okay.
making sure in the mornings they were getting their bits ready to go out to their games. Or I don't know. They used to take packed sandwiches and food and
Okay.
drinks. It was a very social thing. Welcoming some athletes at the train station. I can't
Yes.
remember. I was everywhere. I lost a lot of weight because I was walking all the time, but it was so
Okay.
much fun. I went to Newcastle. It was in Newcastle, and I met
Okay.
so many amazing athletes, transplant athletes from different countries. Made a few friends,
Yes.
socialized a lot. I just really had the best time. I didn't want to leave after a week. I felt like crying, because I'd found another family. The thing about the transplant games is when you're in hospital, you don't know any better. All you know is you're a patient, you're vulnerable,
Yeah.
you have this
Mm.
victim mentality, and then you go to the transplant games and you think, amazing. Some of these
You feel
athletes are
part of it.
actually, yeah, they're
You
better
really feel
than
part of it,
somebody.
don't you?
Yeah,
Yes.
they're better than some people haven't had a transplant. They're amazing. They're so resilient. They're dedicated. You cannot tell them you cannot do that. They're amazing, really. And I met my friend Karen. Karen, she does swimming. I think she's had a liver transplant, and
Okay.
she's always winning gold medals in her swimming. And I saw her, I was so happy, I was crying with happiness, not sadness, because I thought
Okay.
she's older than me and look at what she's achieving with her liver transplant.
Mm.
So yeah, unfortunately, COVID came, as you said. I had plans
Yes.
to compete in something, but maybe next year, fingers crossed.
Def- no, definitely next year.
Yeah.
And we can go together and spend time together as well.
Yeah, it'll be fun. I was looking forward
Yeah.
to that. But anyway, there's always next year. Yeah.
And for all those who don't know much about the British Transplant Games, the British Transplant Games involve pre and post transplant patients who take part in different activities. So when I did it, I took part in the 1.8 mile walk, and that was amazing. I couldn't believe I did it. Towards the end, I just fell to the ground and I was just so heavy. I was so tired. But I'm
Yeah.
looking forward to next year's British Transplant Games, and yeah, it's going to be an amazing time. Yeah.
Yeah, me too, actually. Let's start training now. Well, I am. Been doing
Well,
my
you said,
walking. I'm always
yeah, you
walking.
started.
Yeah.
Okay, let's go on to our next question. So, what are the reasons why people from the Black and the Asian communities are hesitant when it comes to organ donation? What do you think that is?
I I I don't know, Michelle, but the thing is, I've seen it in my family.
Yes.
I'll give you my family as an example.
Mm-hmm.
Um, the thing is, in my family, we're quite educated and knowledgeable. My family have my dad, my sister, they have a science background like myself. But I can tell you, for example, my sister didn't want to be a donor for whatever reason. My dad was considering it actually, but because of his age, I think the doctor
Yes.
or his GP was saying no, Mr. Sitole. It was because of his age, which I understand. It's fear. It's something that's taboo. I don't know. Some of it is severe lack of knowledge, to be quite honest. I have a cousin in Zimbabwe who's telling me that she just didn't know half of the things, anything to do with organ donation. Um,
Okay.
some of it could be religion. But then I do know that religion doesn't play a part in this now because I've had to do my own research around the subject. Because even in the
Yes.
Muslim community, they do encourage organ donation. I think you know that now, Michelle, because I've read so many articles. Um, it just depends. I think I met, if I'm really honest, I think I met one Black person who wanted to donate to me and I
Okay.
said to her, you are unique. And she said, Kitai, I've lived in Sweden. I already know about organ donation. They talk about this. She said that this subject is nothing new to her, or they teach it in schools. I think that's what she said. So I
Okay.
was amazed. But everybody else, if I'm honest, people who wanted to donate to me they were not Black or brown. I had my friend from Spain who wanted to donate, but she couldn't because she was planning on having a child. As you know, if you're going to have children, you cannot, or have a baby, you cannot donate.
Mm-hmm.
I have my friend who's 60. Well, she's older now. But she's from New Zealand. She wanted to, honestly, she did contact the transplant center, Michelle. She
Oh
wanted to donate.
gosh,
She
did
said at the
she?
age of 60, she wanted to help me. She'd lived a full life. She was happy.
Yes.
I was really shocked. There was my
Wow.
friend in the Netherlands who's Dutch.
Yes.
She didn't even, she only told me, she said, Katai, I wanted to donate, but she couldn't because of the blood type. And anyway, I think she was planning to be pregnant. I was really
Mm.
shocked.
Wow, you had quite a few people there.
I had a few people, but they were not really, my ethnicity, if that made sense, for whatever
Yes.
reason. There were so many
Mm.
people actually.
Okay.
But yes, it's a combination of different reasons. And I mean, the knowledge is out there. And the thing is, with us, Black and Asian people, I don't know why we think somebody else will help us. We need to look at ourselves, you know,
Definitely.
as helping each other as a community. It's not always
Mm.
about somebody else. There's so many of us and we need to help each other. Um,
Mm.
And perhaps people need to, you know, what helps, Michelle, is that understanding the science behind it. It's quite complex, you know, organ
Yes.
donation, the
Hmm.
matching, the tissue types. So once you understand that, maybe it'll make sense to some people that it's the reason why we need to help each other, you know, because it does, we have a very low percentage in terms
Definitely.
of organ donation.
And there's so much information out there. You know, you just need to
There is.
look or go onto the organ donation site.
Mhm. And just
Yeah.
ask, and if you're not sure, ask somebody. Get the correct information from the hospital, from the nurses, not from Facebook and
No,
and fake news, which really doesn't help anybody, to be quite
no.
honest.
Or they could
Um,
talk to us because we've been
you
there,
can
we've
talk to
lived the
us,
life.
yes. You can
Yeah.
talk to us, or me, or Michelle. That'll be good, actually. I'm
Yeah.
happy to talk. I'm in Oxford, so I'm exposed to a lot of information, whether I like it or not. You know, I
Yeah.
have a lot of information because I do a lot
Okay.
of research, and I genuinely, you know, can have these open conversations with my doctors and nurses,
Mm.
and it does help. And it'd be nice to share all this information with everybody else. That there's nothing to be scared of organ donation. It really sounds horrific, doesn't it? But it's not. And I don't know about you, Michelle, but obviously I've had my transplant. I don't, like I said to you the other day, I don't know who my donor is. I don't know what color they are. It actually is irrelevant to me. But
But you do know the age. You do know the
I,
age and the
I do,
sex.
yeah, that's what I know. But
Yes.
I do wonder what the race of my donor, but it's not really that it's important, but it would be interesting to know.
Definitely.
Yeah,
Definitely. Hopefully one day, because
yeah.
in order to meet your donor, you have to write them a letter, which I've done already. Have you
Mhm.
written the letter to your donor family?
I have. I wrote the letter. It was one of the hardest letter to write. You know, Michelle, I
Oh
don't know
yeah.
about you, but I was really emotional. I was crying. I wrote, my hand was shaking. I didn't do not understand these emotions, but
Yeah.
I did one half a page. It took me 1 week, honestly, and then I just had to stop. I'm sure it took me 3 4 weeks to write the whole thing,
Yeah. It's
and
not easy. Not easy at all.
I was shocked at all the emotions that were coming out. I just didn't know why that was happening. But anyway, we're only human.
I
I
know.
guess it's everything that has gone on, you know, before the transplant, the trauma, everything comes out in one, I don't know, big emotion, mixed emotions.
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Have you got any contact details you'd like to give out in case anybody wants to get in touch with you?
Yes, they can contact me using my mobile and my email. I don't know if you do you need me to pass them on or type?
No, you could just say it out.
Yeah, so my mobile is 0787 6808 443. So it's
Okay.
0787 6808 443.
Okay.
I'll just type them in the chat actually, because that's the best
Okay.
way.
Great. Thank you.
And the email, yes, feel free to phone me, text me,
And
WhatsApp. I do respond honest.
okay, I know you do. You always
Unless
do
I'm
that.
sleeping,
Yeah.
but I'll
But we
always
all
tell
need
you,
our
Michi.
rest. We all need our rest. Come on, we've been through a lot since our
Yeah,
transplant.
that this is
Yeah.
true. I have a lot of cat naps, but you know, that's just me. I've always been like that anyway.
Okay.
I love my
Okay.
sleep. Yeah, so I've sent the information in the chat group.
Okay. Great. Thank you.
Yeah,
So if
just
anybody wants to have a chat or just send a message or a question to Ty, hopefully we should have it in the chat box.
yeah.
Right, Katai, I got one more question for you.
Hmm.
Have you any take-home messages for our listeners or our viewers out there? Anything to encourage them and motivate them?
What can I say? So many messages in my head. just to spread the word about organ donation and share with friends and family. Please educate yourself with the correct information. You know, feel free to ask me because I can tell you my story. I'll be honestly, what I went through with my story, who I met along the story, why it's important to get our people to get involved with organ donation. As I said, we can only help ourselves. We cannot always have this mentality of waiting for somebody else, because the somebody else, it's us, basically.
Yes.
And we cannot stay like this. We cannot stay as if we're in 2021. Everybody has access to information, knowledge, education. So we need to spread the word and get involved. Even get involved as a volunteer. Maybe go as a volunteer to the Transplant Games, British Transplant Games every year. Then you can
Great.
see
Yeah.
for yourself, talk to people.
Mm.
And yes, spread the word and get involved somehow, even as a volunteer.
Okay. Yeah, and that would be for next year, the British Transplant Games. They even got a World British Transplant Games as well.
I
I think
know. And
last
also,
year,
yeah.
I think 2 years ago, they went to Spain, I think.
Oh, yeah, I remember. I've seen the videos, yeah.
Yeah,
And also
yeah,
just join the organ donor register. Just join. Do your
yeah.
research and get the correct information, and get educated and get empowered with the right information.
And organ donation's got a campaign out at the moment, which is called Leave Them Certain. So
Oh,
it's just a matter of sitting down with your family and having that conversation about your decision for when it comes. So yeah, leave them certain. Have that conversation with your family and your loved ones. Now, before we go, I'd just like to say a massive thank you to Katai, my special guest for today. It's been an amazing time with you. Thank you ever so much for coming on my show. And I
thank
hope
you,
to bring you
Michelle.
back on. That's great. Thank you. And I hope to bring you back on one day soon. So, to all my listeners, I just want to give God the glory, and I thank God each and every day for my special gift of life. And I'm able to be here to spread important information about my journey. Just want to read out one inspirational information here. Jesus looked at said, "With man, this is impossible, but not with God. All things are possible with God." This is Mark 10, verse 27. Thank you for listening, and I'll see you all next week. Thank you, Katai, and have a good
Thank you,
night.
everyone. Bye.
Bye. Bye-bye.
Some people have seen where God has brought you from. They don't really understand it. They don't know your story.
Don't know my story.
You don't know
The
my
things.
story.
Some people have seen where God has brought you from. They don't really understand it. They don't know your story.
Don't know my story.